We're good? Okay. All right, good morning, everybody. It is August 31st at 10 a.m. We are calling to order the Board of Commissioners meeting. Would you please rise with us and say the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. At this time, we will accept public comment for items not appearing on our agenda. Is there any public comment at this time? Okay. Seeing none, we will move forward with our minutes from our work session on July 6th, and also our Board of Commissioners meeting from last week.
Motion to approve the minutes from the July 6th work sessions and the August 24th Board of Commissioners meeting.
Been moved and seconded. Any final discussion on the minutes? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried. Moving into Proclamation 25 of 2021, we are pleased and honored to have with us Marissa Vasari from the Jana Marie Foundation to talk a little bit about what their organization is doing for the month of September, and we'll turn it over to you at this time, Marissa. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much. So I am with Jana Marie Foundation. We are a nonprofit organization that harnesses the power of creative expression and dialogue to spark conversations and build connections and promote mental health and well-being. And we began 9 years ago in memory of my sister, Jana, who died by suicide. And we recognize that many of us in this room have been touched by suicide in some kind of way, whether it be a personal experience, being a survivor of suicide loss, or even hearing about it in our community. And this designated month provides us that opportunity to amplify our voices and really just support one another, and also helps us be able to spread awareness about the different warning signs and the amazing resources that are available here in Center County to help people know that they're not alone. And so we really appreciate you taking the time to once again proclaim September as Suicide Prevention and Awareness Day. September 10th is Suicide Prevention and Awareness Day, and the month of September is Suicide Prevention Month. During the month, we have a lot of different events going on. Some of them are scheduled to be in person right now, but we are monitoring to make sure that it is safe. On September 10th, we do have an evening of hope, healing, and remembrance. So this is the 9th annual one for Center County. And it will be held hopefully over at Wasson Farm this year. And we have a variety of different speakers who have lived experiences or have been touched by suicide in some kind of way, as well as Center Dance will be coming over and joining us and doing some performances. And we'll have a candle lighting ceremony led by Evelyn Wald at the end of the evening. And then we'll start with a community dinner that's sponsored by the YMCA of Center County. And then on September 11th, we have Mindful Rhythms. And so it is a drum circle to really help us just be mindful and start our day off right. And then on the 23rd is Jana Marie Foundation's annual fundraising concert, The Philosophy of Hope, which is a concert by Ken Baxter, who lost his son to suicide, and many other top musicians in the area that come together to form one band and one voice to help raise awareness with suicide prevention, and also helping to just support Jana Marie Foundation and the funds that are necessary for our programming. So.
Fantastic. It's such an impactful organization you lead and run, and it is so important that you're here today to talk about this and to raise awareness. So we look forward to these events to connect and be able to reduce stigma. So again, congratulations on all the work that you're doing, and really appreciate the impact you're having in our community.
Yeah, thank you. It's been really rewarding, and we're seeing a lot more education that's happening. This fall alone, we will reach over 1,000 individuals with mental health and suicide prevention education, which is great to see that this information is getting out there so widely. So,
thank you, Marissa. Any other comments or questions?
Just want to mention you do produce a lot of programming, quite a bit of it actually original, which is a lot of extra work. And you do have some very enjoyable fundraisers. Remember the last couple you did quite fondly.
Oh,
so
wonderful.
Please keep me on that email list.
Yeah, absolutely. We do have a combination of signature programs as well as evidence-based programs that are out there. And some of our signature programs are currently being researched to become evidence-based, which is really exciting as well. So.
Fantastic. Well, thank you again, Marissa, so much.
Thank you.
So we would look for a motion at this time then.
Sure. Oh, Steve, I noticed I don't think your microphone's on. There we go. Motion to adopt Proclamation number 25 of 2021, proclaiming September as Suicide Awareness and Prevention Month and September 10th as Suicide Awareness and Prevention Day in Center County.
I will second that.
It has been moved and seconded. Any final discussion on that? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 The motion is carried. Okay, so we welcome you up, Marissa, to provide you a copy of the proclamation. All right, we'll present that to you there. There you
Thank
go.
you.
Absolutely,
Thank you
absolutely.
very much.
Okay, absolutely. All right.
1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Thank
you
you.
again, Marissa, very
Thank
much.
you very
Thank you.
much.
Thank you indeed. Okay. Continuing with the agenda, we will welcome up our treasurer, Colleen Kennedy, a member of the Center County Retirement Board, to discuss this next item. Good morning, Colleen.
Good morning, everyone. I'm here on behalf of Controller Jason Moser, who is at the County Controllers Conference this week. Jason prepared some remarks for me to share with the board regarding the contract. First, the Retirement Board began planning for the investment consultant RFP in the fall of 2020 to provide constant review and oversight on the retirement fund investments on a total fund level. The RFP was issued on January 5th, 2021, followed by an exhaustive scoring and review process that ended with 3 finalists asked to present to the Retirement Board. This process concluded with a final scoring and the selection of Pfm Asset Management, LLC, as the Retirement Board's investment consultant. PFM will work to ensure that the total fund investments are being maximized to maintain the funding and longevity of the fund for all current and future Center County retirees. The contract includes fees of $95,000 for the first year, $115,000 for the second year, and $130,000 in year 3, with the option to continue afterwards at a percentage of the net assets of the fund. And all fees will be paid by the retirement fund and will not impact the general fund. The contract with Pfm Asset Management has already been reviewed by the county solicitor, Betsy Dupuy. I got an update yesterday. Controller Moser had shared at the recent board meeting, the retirement board meeting, that right to know language was appended to the PFM contract. And we just learned that additional language has also been cleared by the solicitor. The Retirement Board is recommending that the Board of Commissioners approve the contract with PFM Asset Management, please.
Thank you very much, Colleen. This is, again, as you mentioned, exhaustive search to utilize other options that we have, other tools for investment, and this really gives us a great strategy going forward. PFM is going to add a world-class experience that they have in terms of managing funds and assisting us to really streamline the process, and looking forward to, again, getting a little bit more diversity within the fund, but not doing anything extraneous and unruly. It'll still be a very, we'll be very mindful of how we're investing, but this will give us another opportunity to work with, again, some really great folks who are working with counties already with their retirement funds.
And I think I'll add that the Retirement Board is not in any way giving up its oversight.
Absolutely, right.
There will be language, we'll be revising our investment policy to guide PFM's decision-making, and we will have oversight over that decision-making.
Absolutely. And with $140 million in the fund currently, and that grows, every day, we need to be very mindful of it. So again, this will, again, be another tool in the toolbox as we continue to invest the funds that are going towards our retirees in the future. So, yeah. But any other comments or questions? Okay, all right. We look for a motion then.
Motion to approve the investment advisory agreement with PFM Asset Management, LLC.
I will second
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried. Okay, Colleen, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Welcome up Norm at this time.
Good morning.
Morning, Norm.
Morning.
We're requesting approval of payment to Tyler Technologies for our annual computer-aided dispatch maintenance agreement for $70,090.51. This will cover maintenance and support for our CAD from July 1st till March of 31st of 2022, when we migrate to the regional CAD with Southern Alleghenies. And since this contract is not for the full year and we'll be moving to the regional CAD, we will see about a $21,000 savings in our 2021 budget.
Fantastic. Thank you, Norm. Any comments or questions?
Savings is great, and again, want to compliment you and your staff for keeping things running under trying times and getting ramped up for football season coming back to Center County.
Absolutely. All right. We look for a motion then.
Motion to add the payment to Tyler Technologies to next week's consent agenda.
I will second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 The motion has carried. Thank you, Norm.
Thank you.
All right, welcome up Carrie at this time. And the warden. I apologize. Carrie and the warden, please.
All right, good morning. We come
Morning.
before the board requesting a letter of commitment with Decision Points Authors LLC. This is for a training entitled Decision Points. If you recall, it's part of our JAG funding announcement, our JAG grant from the Pennsylvania Commission on Crime and Delinquency. So COVID sort of delayed us having the in-person training, but we are going to pursue that the end of this month.
Yes.
End of September, and the warden can discuss what the training is going to entail, but this is funded almost entirely with the grant funds.
Great. Thank you, Carrie.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Just talk a little bit about Decision Points. Through the grant was a collaboration to involve other counties with this. So we reached out to Cambria, Butler, and Dauphin, all taking participants for this program to add it into theirs. This program started off with a Stepping Up initiative, which they highly recommended for our mental health population. Decision Points is an open entry cognitive behavior intervention program. It's really directed for adults. It's dealing with the criminal justice programs. It's being in jail, so forth, or getting out of jail. It's about changing their thinking process. Why did they go down that avenue? How did they go down that avenue? Where are they going to end up in next? So we're going to teach them all those concepts. It's an evidence-based, which is a big thing I'm amped for. All of our counselors are going to be certified in it. Actually, I'm going to go through it, as well as my deputy warden administration, Glenn's going to go through it, so we can interact and continuously help our staff through these programs to help with our incarcerated mental health individuals. So that's all I have for that.
Fantastic. Yeah, we've been hearing updates about this. Prison board meetings about this coming along at reentry meetings, CJAB meetings. So we're excited about this, and the fact you're pulling in other counties is terrific. So I'm sure they're appreciative as well. Yeah.
It's grant funded.
Yeah.
The city loves when we collaborate with other counties, and for the cost, if we can invite a few neighbors over and they can get trained as well, we see it as a positive collaboration.
That's great. Excellent. Comments or questions?
Yeah, thanks for working with the other counties as well.
Before Carrie sits
Oh, no,
down,
please.
Well,
Yes.
I'd like to have a few words after we're done with this.
Okay, absolutely. Okay, so let's look for a motion on this item.
Motion to approve the letter of commitment with Decision Point Authors LLC.
I will second that.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, do so by saying aye. Aye. The motion is carried. Okay, yeah, please, Commissioner.
I would just like to, first of all,
Thank you, Warren.
recognize Carrie's hard work on the HOPE initiative to put together our annual HOPE Remembrance ceremony or our service this evening that recognizes those who have been lost to overdose death, and kind of reach out to the families and let folks know that they are remembered and valued in the community. And that event's at 6:30 this evening on the courthouse steps, and everybody's more than welcome to attend. And again, it's a solemn event, but it's one that we feel is very important to recognize and make aware that the families that have lost family members, that we keep them in our thoughts and prayers.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you. So please, 6:30 tonight, courthouse steps. We hope to see as many folks there as possible. So thank you, Carrie. Thank you again, Warden. Thank you. Okay, at this time, we will welcome up Natalie Corman for items under Human Services. Good morning, Natalie.
Good morning. So, on behalf of the MHAD office, the first contract is with Crossroads Counseling. They're one of our local providers who do an extensive amount of drug and alcohol services for us, outpatient, intensive outpatient recovery supports, and MAT. That contract total is for $140,000. Boy, those numbers don't add up, do they? The state allocation at $41,355. Our county match for Crossroads is about 4.68%, which is the Human Service Block Grant funding. So contracts 2 through 7 are all for treatment facilities throughout the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, all specific to whether it would be a high-intensity residential, whether it would be medical monitored, whether it would be rehabilitation. We offer this as a variety of services to be located throughout the Commonwealth based on independent individuals' needs and their level of care that's needed at the time of their request for services. So all of those estimated at $5,000. All of that is directly either state or federally funded through the allocation we receive from the state. Number 8 is our contract with Strawberry Fields. Specific to our mental health services, obviously this is a large one for us. They do both our community residential rehabilitation program, they provide case management, and they also do some specific housing support programs for us. That contract total is $1,169,584, again with our county match. Contract 9 is for Sunny Days Adult Living. They do a lot of our community-based services for our population. Really important to us that they're able to do that. Contract total is $6,250. And the final one is our letter of agreement with the Behavioral Health Alliance of Rural Pennsylvania and Community Care Behavioral Health. As you know, we updated our contract with them this year that now we, under the BHARP, the 24 counties are combined together and have that contract with our managed care company. And this letter of agreement outlines all the responsibilities we have as a county, BHARP has as our entity, and community care to make sure that we provide services to our residents in Center County.
Okay, thank you, Natalie. For item 1, what we'll do is, since we're moving it to consent, we can that's fine. We can correct that before next week's meeting. But
Yep.
Any other questions on items 1 through 10? Okay, hearing none, is there a motion?
Motion to add the mental health, intellectual disability, early intervention, drug and alcohol, items 1 through 10 to next week's consent agenda, including the small update to item number 1.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried. Thank you,
Thank
Natalie. For our Records Management Office, we'll welcome up Chad. Good morning, Chad.
Good morning. I'll give a little background on this one. The county participates in a secure microfilm storage program through the Pennsylvania Historical Museum Commission. We currently have 2,039 rolls of microfilm being stored at Iron Mountain through the Pennsylvania State Archives program. Pennsylvania State Archives built a new facility in Harrisburg that's expected to be ready for occupancy at the end and fall of 2022. So the PHMC has given the counties that are participating in this program 3 different options. The first one is to keep their microfilm at Iron Mountain and to pay the cost. The second one is to terminate participation in the program and find new storage that meets the PHMC specifications. Or the third option is to have the archives moved to the new building, and they're requesting counties have a decision by November 1st, 2021. The state archives would pay all costs associated with removing the microfilm from Iron Mountain to their new facility. It'll provide secure storage that is outside the 500-year flood plan, and it has cool storage that meets preservation requirements. There will be no annual fee for storing the microfilm at PA State Archives through at least 2025. So say I request that the security microfilm program disposition form and security microfilm program release form be signed and submitted to the Penn State Archives, allowing our microfilm to be moved to their new facility.
Okay. Chad, thank you so much. Any questions or comments?
Chad, what's the process if somebody needs to access those microfilm?
Yeah, I'm actually not sure of the process. I think right now we have to go through PHMC and they go through Iron Mountain. I'm not too familiar with the access process. Haven't no one's asked me to access any of them yet, so.
In terms of what's on these records or the age or scope of what's on them, it's something that we don't regularly access. This is not part of our contract we have with Iron Mountain.
Correct.
But do we have any idea what's on them, or?
I don't know specifically what's on them. I do know the areas where they are accessed. So of the 2,039, roughly 1,982 of them are through the Prothonotary's office. 67 rolls of them are Orphans Court or Recorder of Deeds, and there's 8 rolls that are with the Elections Office.
Okay, that's helpful, at least to know the scope of them. Thank you, Chad. Okay. All right. Any other questions or comments before we look for a motion? Okay, would we look for a motion then?
Motion to add the submission of the 2 forms to the Pennsylvania State Archives to next week's consent agenda.
Seconded.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye?
Aye.
The motion is carried. Okay, Chad, thank you once again.
Thank you.
Okay. Resolution 14 of 2021, we'll welcome back up Natalie.
Morning again. So, as you know, DCED, when you apply for funding for them and want to do the authorization for the application and agreement, they do this as a resolution to do that. And so on behalf of the Adult Services Office, for us to receive that emergency solutions grant funding that we are doing in alliance with our housing transitions and Center Safe, and also specific to some of the new housing vouchers that the Housing Authority is getting that Faith described. This resolution outlines the fact that we want to apply for that funding. We will execute the application as such, and we will follow all requirements based on DCED funding.
Very similar to the one that we passed last year for the first round of these
Yep.
funds. Okay.
Very much.
Would you motion to adopt the resolution?
Motion to adopt resolution number 14 of 2021.
Seconded.
It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 The motion is carried. Okay, thank you,
Thank you.
Natalie. All right, under grants, we will welcome up Dave Lomison to discuss the grant with the state. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me. I come and ask the board to consider approving our Community Public Transportation Grant Agreement with Pennsylvania Department of Transportation, Bureau of Public Transportation. And the grant total for this fiscal year for the period July 1, 2021 to June 30th, 2022 is $653,000 total. $576,000 earmarked for senior shared ride and $77,000 for persons with disabilities. Hopefully we can get to those numbers. That's certainly our goal, that we use every dollar they give us. It's the same as the previous year's grant. They just went across the board for everyone, but we're obviously hoping that we can continue our trend and get close to that number.
All right, thank you, Dave. Any questions or comments on this? Okay, would there be a motion?
Motion to approve the grant agreement with the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation, Bureau of Public Transit.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Motion is carried. Thank you,
Thank you
Dave,
very
very much. Thank you. We have today's consent agenda in front of us. Would there be a motion to approve it?
Motion to approve today's consent agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried. Okay. Going down the list here, we will turn it over to Commissioner Higgins for a check run.
Sure. We have a larger than average check run in the amount of $2,228,283.69. More than half of this particular check run is due to a single check. It's to Jersey Shore State Bank in the amount of $1,348,070.85. I'd like to thank the Comptroller and Treasurer's Office for doing some research on exactly why we're cutting a check that large. And this is mostly the balloon payment for a loan that the county took out about 10 years ago. My other 2 commissioners were on the board at the time.
No, I was not. Just Commissioner Dershowitz.
Just Commissioner Dershowitz?
I think it was a refinancing.
Refinancing, okay. So that refinanced a loan that had been taken out to do a lot of repairs to Center Crest, most especially the roof. So thanks again to the Treasurer and Controller's Office for keeping track of that and making sure the money was there to make a payment that large. And of course, Jersey Shore State Bank, great bank, got that new branch up in Snowshoe, which we really appreciate. So would like to make the motion to approve the check run dated August 27th.
All right, so moved and seconded. I think that was part of the stimulus plan in 2009.
All right.
Offered counties the opportunity to take a loan out, just pay the interest for.
Yeah,
10
that's what,
years.
yes, that's exactly what it was.
Ah, that's why the balloon payment was so large.
So,
Okay.
all right. All right, so it's been moved and seconded. Any final discussion on the check run? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried. Okay. And then Commissioner Dershowitz, over to you.
Okay, we have a voter registration report this morning that includes 104,963 registered voters in Center County. That's up 97 from our last report. There are 44,040 Democratic voters, 138 Green Party, 685 Libertarian, 14,046 no affiliation, and 42,184 Republicans. When you add the 3,870 other parties, then you get the 104,963. The feature small party of the week is the X Party, and the X Party has one registered voter in Center County. So you want to they are actually the last one on my list. So we're going to be starting back through the other parties here momentarily. The feature precinct of the week is Benner North, number 36, which votes at the Benner Township Building. And in the primary, there were total registration of 1,476 voters. There were 529 ballots cast, and that leads to a percentage voter turnout of 35.84%. And it's not too bad for a primary. And in the spirit of folks getting it done, the Judge of Elections, Pamela Tierney, Minority Inspector is Lois Zimmerman, Majority Inspector is John Zimmerman, and the clerks are Kelly Karaki, Carl Ammerman, and Gloria Lohr. And again, we want to thank the folks at Benner Township for allowing us to use their facility. So we'll see you in a bit. Thanks.
Sounds good. Thank you, Commissioner. We do want to remind folks that Center County government offices will be closed this coming Monday for Labor Day. However, the Board of Commissioners will be meeting in session on Tuesday, September 7th. Any executive sessions to report or go into, Margaret?
No executive sessions to report, however, we do need to meet in executive session prior to adjournment today.
Okay, thank you. All right. We will accept any questions from the press at this time, please. Okay.
Hi. So there's been a lot of discussion around Senator Corman's renewed efforts to do a full forensic audit of the 2020 election. Thoughts on this coming from a senator who represents Center County?
From my perspective, let's wait to see what their scope is and how they're going to go about it. My preference is not to add more fuel to the fire when it comes to this. I'd rather just see what comes. My personal take is let's just see what happens, rather than starting to, get into it. But so we're 10 months from the election. Let's see what happens, and then we can comment on it further.
And over those 10 months,
Sure.
You've been asked, do you have confidence in the way the election was ran? And the answer has been yes. Do you stand by that statement at this point?
Oh, absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Another question. Spoke a little bit earlier about today being International Awareness Day for Overdoses, and tonight there will be a ceremony at the courthouse. Can you talk about the significance of showing signs of support in our community that are visible?
I think primarily the big issue for us is trying to eliminate all overdoses, and unfortunately over the course of the last number of years we've seen the number of overdoses vacillate from very small numbers to very large numbers. And as we come through this, particularly come through this pandemic period, we are concerned that folks do suffer from isolation and do have issues, many of them mental health related, to go along with substance abuse. And so it's important for us to reach out and let not only the families that have suffered through this tragedy, but also the folks that are out there who that are in crisis now realize that, there are resources out there. And the remembrance is just a recognition that, the families are not alone, and that stigma, particularly, the stigma behind overdose is waning. And, please seek help and find ways to not only deal with the tragedy, but help others in the community that are suffering as well.
Thank you.
Has the county been asked, question we may be asked on a regular basis, has the county been asked to provide any election materials from previous elections?
From citizens, we've had right to know requests.
But I mean from what's going on in
Oh,
Harrisburg?
no, we have not.
Has anything you're hearing changed preparations for the next upcoming election in terms of how the county will be going about it?
No, I don't think so. I mean, every election provides new challenges, whether it's recruitment of poll workers, finding new polling locations. But I think in terms of the state passing any new laws, we're not likely to see any coming through.
Has the County Commissioners Association put out a statement on the possibility of the audit?
Not to my recollection. I don't know if I've seen anything.
I haven't seen anything.
Yeah, I don't think so. No.
Lightning round, let's get a new topic. Census there are some municipalities and boroughs talking about a recount, not votes, but people.
Sure.
Is the county looking into that?
So hearing from many municipalities that have seen actually a decrease in population that we know for a fact, for example, State College Borough, they did not decrease in population over those 10 years. The challenge is on that date with the challenge of COVID-19, students not being here, did present a challenge. So we know that for the next decade, the investments that we need through federal funding, we really need those to stay where they're at, not be at a lower level from where we could have been. So there is a process. It's a multi-year process to get a updated number. It's not as if folks go out this fall and we have a new number by 2022. It's a multi-year process. So more data is going to, or more information is going to be provided from the federal government in the fall. That's when they're looking to announce what that process would look like. So we'll keep our eye on it, but new numbers wouldn't be available until 2023. It'll take a while. So it's not going to affect the reapportionment, the redistricting that's going to be occurring this year and next year. It won't. The numbers that we have now is what they're going to be using. So this would be more for federal funding for our CDBG program and other funding that we get from the federal government.
And a broad variety of funding from the state as well as population-based, too.
So it sounds like you're going to wait till fall? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's when the U.S. Census and the
next report comes out?
yeah, the Commerce Report will provide guidelines on how communities would go about asking for a recanvass or a recount of the census numbers. But again, we don't have much information beyond that.
Have you had any more talks with Penn State administration on their COVID prevention plans? Whether it's the vaccination policy or non-vaccination policy, have you had any more chats with Old Main?
We did. We had a productive meeting last week with their local government affairs office to discuss many aspects of their vaccination policy, testing policy, how we can collaborate. But we're every Tuesday and Thursday when they put that dump of data in terms of vaccinations, isolations, quarantines, testing, all of that. We're going to be watching it very closely and discussing and giving feedback as we see fit.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Okay, all right. At this time, we'd look to go into an executive session.
Motion to recess the Board of Commissioners meeting at 10:34.
For an executive session, correct?
Sorry, recess for an executive session.
Okay, all right. And for the matter of personnel, thank you. All right, all those in favor say aye.
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 Thank you all very much.